Welcome to Kerbal Space Program. Today we are going to catch ourselves an asteroid. It's something I've literally never done. So hopefully we got a couple of KSP pros in the chat who can help give me some advice along the way. I just realized that since I had my audio muted earlier, I probably missed a tip, and I did. Well, I got Wymie earlier, yes, and again, Briar did bring back the whiskey, so that was good. And we got one from Cool Man Fight. Terribly sorry I didn't catch it because of my muted sound there. This sounds very awesome, and may you have a great and warm day. Well, thank you very much, Cool Man. That was the programming stream. That was a lot of fun. Okay, here we are in Kerbal Space Program. The major mods that are loaded are simply MechJeb and Kerbal Alarm Clock. I probably have a few extra little visual things and whatever. But those aren't going to matter on this particular run over here. So, asteroids. I believe that our tracking center is updated enough that, yes, we can see some unknown objects. There's a Class D, which is a huge rock. Can we get a Class A? We got a B over here, an E, which is huge, C. Well, we got a B over here, which is smaller. I think Class A is the absolute smallest. Looks like we don't have any on the radar yet. But I believe that these are just asteroids, and that we can go and catch them, use more boosters. So it says you're doing creative. Now, if you refresh, it should say that I'm doing Kerbal Space Program. You may have to refresh for the description to be updated. Not that it matters, but for some reason, if you're watching a stream, it doesn't always update the description. I don't know why. So, like, yeah, that's fully upgraded. You're not fully upgraded. I don't think it makes a difference. It just gives us more contracts. That's fine. Sometimes you do get contracts for capturing asteroids. There are none available right now, which is too bad, but it's not going to matter too much. Because we don't have a contract, which would normally offer us a crap ton of money to go and do one of these launches, it's possible, depending on how expensive the ship is, we may have to cheat ourselves a little bit of money, give ourselves a fake contract, basically, for it. But I think we're going to be fine. Where's my drink? Right over here. So, as I understand it, the most important part of catching an asteroid will, in fact, be to have the advanced grabbing unit, which is right here. What category? Was that in here? I don't see it in here. What category is the advanced grabbing unit? Oh, it's probably in, like, the couplings, isn't it? Yeah, right over here. Cannot be the first part of a vessel, which is fine. Now, what I'm thinking is this. So, you can grab an asteroid with the grabber. Grabber is basically, it works a lot like a docking port, except you don't need another docking port. It just latches onto literally whatever. And it can latch on to the surface of an asteroid. And asteroids are physics enabled. You can push them. If you attach to them, you can then push them with a ship, which sounds amazing. The other thing is they do contain fuel. So what I'm thinking is you can mine the asteroid while you push the asteroid. And therefore use that to fuel it back, to push it back. Because they're huge, they're very heavy. So the amount of thrust you need to get any delta V out of it is quite substantial. I mean, one engine will still eventually move an asteroid no matter what, sure, but you need to throw a lot of fuel for it. Or, no matter how many engines you've got, you're going to have to throw just as much fuel through the whole system. Just one way means you have to wait less long to do it. So, I do need a hat. I don't have a good space hat, though. There's still that problem. Hold on. This is normally, I think, what I wear for the KSP, right? Is this. And then we throw the goggles on there to look a little bit sciencey and steampunky and things like that. This is how I imagine, like, the Kerbal people sort of explore the world and do things. I think that's centered. I can't see, because if I look at the camera, or I look at my camera output, it's sideways. But I think that's pretty standard, or centered. Okay. Boom. This is a continuation of the career mode that we've been playing lately. It's the same career where we stranded, was it Bob or Bill? We stranded him on Duna for like 5+ years. Alright. So anyway, with the whole idea of grabbing fuel from the asteroid on the go, I'm wondering if we should throw an engineer on there and just keep the rate up. He'll come home eventually. I don't know how big the grabber is, actually. I'm still not used to the new menuing system. Okay, it is that big. So, we could actually fit more than one person. I know you can get science from the asteroids as well. So that actually might be quite valuable. But why don't you use something like that, and then, not thermal. Where's the fueling stuff? Yeah, it would be in here. No, that's mobility enhancer. Drill-O-Matic Junior. Proper Drill-O-Matic, which is huge. So, what if we had that? And then... Now, if we're using... I'm thinking nuclear engines, which means we only need liquid fuel. The problem is, do I have procedural tanks? I don't think so. No, that's kind of unfortunate. Because it's not as space efficient. And we don't need huge fuel tanks. But if we did this, right? And this would have to be inverted this way. Not lock, we want this. And what would this look like when deployed? Right, so can we latch on and then throw that inside and then mine stuff this way? Does that work, I wonder? And I haven't really done any mining ever, and I haven't captured the asteroids. These are the two things. I've got a lot of things that I have done in Kerbal Space Program, but those continue to be something that I have not done. And then we probably want the big convertotron over there. And this used to generate like 1 billion heat. Is that... I don't know if it still does or doesn't. I know that the nuclear engines used to generate 1 billion heat and no longer do. I think what we do is we get maybe the medium thermal control system. And, oh, I was hoping we'd be able to snap onto these parts right over here, but I guess not. Maybe just a pair of these guys, sort of centered like this. That loud mouse wheel. You like that, huh? A huge retro rockets slow down and huge reaction wheels. Yeah, that's a good point, because we're gonna have to turn. Yeah, we're gonna have to turn the asteroid once we're on it, aren't we? So the advanced reaction wheels are the biggest, I think. Yes. So we're probably gonna need even more than this. I'm thinking of doubling up on this. Massive amounts of reaction wheels. Now, for us to slow down, if we've got these reaction wheels, I'm not as worried about retro rockets, because I figure we can just, like, turn around, burn and reverse, although if we're only relying on a nuclear engine, we may not have the thrust to do it in a reasonable amount of time. Ore tank, yeah, I guess that's true, right? We need a certain amount of that. Probably not much, because I'm hoping, I mean, I'm sure the rates don't really match up. But if we go into radial mode here and do that and then clone you again and get another one over here, maybe help balance out the weight. So some amount of place to store the ore from this, and then some amount of place to store the fuel. But again, with everything going on the fly, I don't think we've got to save it. In fact, I'm not even convinced we need this many ore tanks. We need this. We need a lot of power too, right? A gimbling engine would help turning the asteroid. It would. Now, here's a question. Does the nuclear engine... Oh, I need to unmute the game. Sorry, my bad. Does the nuclear engine gimbal? The answer is no. But I think we'll just have to deal with that. I would like... we're missing some of the converter bits that I would like to easily go from one shape to another here. I don't know, I guess I can still just do this. Now, the thing with having multiple nuclear engines is you don't get any extra delta V at all. It's actually, you lose delta V because your ship is considerably heavier from having done this. But the upshot, or the pro of this, is that you get a lot more thrust and you don't have to wait 1 million years for you to move your ship. The game's too loud? Try that. You guys will let me know. Now, I mean, is any of this practical? I have no idea. We don't need any oxidizer in here, so we'll save a little bit of weight. If we had procedural tanks, this would be a pure liquid tank. MechJeb. Delta V stats. Out of curiosity, how much would this do? This by itself is 1200 Delta V, which isn't much. So this by itself won't get us very far. But again, the idea is, hopefully, if we do it right, unlimited fuel. We do need a lot of power, though. I don't know if we desperately need batteries, but we may as well put in, yeah, the 1K is probably fine in there, but what we need is a lot of solar panels, and I think I'd want the Gigantor ones, which I can't remember any of the controls. There we go. It's been so long. Guess we do it on this way. Have no idea if this is even remotely close to sufficient. 3 years! Wow, Cat! That's amazing! I have removed the oxidizer from the tank. That's amazing. Do all the asteroids when mined provide the same resources? I actually don't know for sure. There might be different things. I don't know if we need any extra stabilizers, if that's going to be enough to like leave us properly anchored in or not. I'm hoping it does. So I have no idea, but I'm wondering, like, is this sufficient to mine and push the asteroid? It'll probably be damn slow. But does this, will this do the mining? Is this going to be enough power? I guess one of the questions then is this Convertotron, how much power does it use? 30 electric charge per second when doing the conversions. Also, how much ore? This can, at max, produce... This needs another 7.5 per second as well. Can produce 1.5 ore per second. And this will convert... Oh, it only works at a third the speed. Wow. I wonder if we can get away with a smaller drill. This technically wouldn't be enough to keep it saturated, and I think we need the length. So we're going to overproduce on ore, but I guess that's fine. Most notably, though, is the fact that we need 37.5 electric charge per second just to maintain the mining operation. The Gigantor XL solar panels generate 24.4 per second each. So right now we have 48 electric charge, assuming that we're getting full sunshine. So 2 does seem to be sufficient. Now, the question is, this is going to be quite close to the asteroid. What are the odds that this is going to be eclipsed? And we're not going to be able to see the sun. I actually have no idea. It'd be nice to put it further back, which I wonder if I can just... Can I get it on this? Not really, huh? Or there. I can get it there. And can I fit 3? That looks much better, actually. There we go. So it's going to be a little further away. It might have a better chance not to be eclipsed. Figure I need RCS? I mean, we got the rotation wheels. RCS doesn't use power for the rotation, which is quite nice. More batteries, maybe. Asteroids get lighter and lighter as mining needs fuel. That's quite good. You can use fuel cells and use some of the fuel. Yes! Absolutely. So this will actually generate 50 by burning fuel and oxidizer. So it's a good backup. I can just sort of tuck it in here, maybe. As an emergency method. And, like, have it start off or some damn thing. Okay, it stores 50 charge. Sorry. Oh, it only generates 1.5 per second. You know what? I'm going to keep it because it's going to be a good backup if something goes wrong. Although, we'd need oxidizer to run that. So I'm going to put in a little bit of oxidizer here. We will be able to... I think you can produce oxidizer with the mining drill. Or the Convertotron, don't you? Yes, it outputs oxidizer and liquid fuel. Although I think we can turn one or the other off. So that could generate a little bit of power regardless. There's a bigger one. Do we have access to it, though? No, I don't have access to it right now. The only fuel cell I have is this. So I'm just going to have the one as a backup so we don't actually run out of power completely. I can turn off all the converters and shit. And you can mine for RCS as well. That's right. So we've got RCS storage in this command pod. Monopropellant. So do you... Hold on. Do you mine for the RCS or do you convert? There's the monoprop. Okay. So you just mine ore and you can convert it into whatever. So we can generate more monopropellant, which we can store in the command pod. And so what I'm going to want is, I think especially, I guess on both ends, we're going to want some of that. Is that under command and control? It is. Do we just want to use these? No, I think we're going to want the inline RCS ports. So I'm going to put a foursome up front, or up top here. There we go. It's actually interpenetrating inside, but I think that's fine. These are not pointing the right way. I don't think it's going to let me put it there, right? No, this is not actually part of the ship. And I can't actually grab that. Can't put it here, can't put it here. I guess I can put it over here. But that's not really useful. We really need... I need something back here that I can attach crap to. Can I run a girder down there? No, I can't snap it in there. That's actually getting to be kind of annoying. I need something I can snap to at the bottom. I suppose... I can add some other tank. Maybe I want a big RCS tank. Probably not, but I don't know. Let us get there. If I do this, then what I can do is grab the RCS controls and get them as far down as possible with 4x symmetry. There we go. And again, there's this one here, but that's a ghost. That's not, that RCS isn't actually placed. Let's Asteroid get her one. Get her done. There you go. I don't see RCS build aid installed. Is that there's a mod? Oh, probably to help you balance for your center of mass and stuff. Yeah, that actually would be quite good. I can dock without RCS, though. Oh, we don't have forward and backwards facing RCS is the thing. I've got them nicely organized for rotating. It might be nice to have, like, some pushback RCS, though. That's true. Maybe I should just use the four-way blocks. Okay. Let's just do that. That way I don't have to worry. Put it there. Don't symmetry. I'm going to put you there. Okay. Although for all I know, that gets very hot. There, I'll put you there. Because at least this part has radiators. Now, I don't know if that's enough radiation. I have no idea how much heat this is going to generate. So what we have here is something that's very easy. It's going to be able to flip itself around. And I'm hoping that we're going to get enough kick from this. It's actually got a surprising amount of thrust, actually, from this. I think we will be able to slow down to match speeds with the Asteroid relatively easy once we make contact, using just this bit. But, of course, we have to get there. This is only 1,000 meters per second of delta V. It can probably be used for the final approach, but it sure as hell isn't getting us into space or leaving the Kerbal system in any way whatsoever. So we're going to need more. So the question now becomes, can I just throw a Rockomax decoupler into this? And I can. Thank goodness. Yeah, okay, so this part is no good. Boo. So what we do instead, I suppose, is just put our nuclear engines on the outside. Can I not? We do have way too much RCS fuel because there's going to be tons in the top. So I can't put these on the side. Inverted tri-adapter thing. It partially might just be that I don't have all the parts I need. I mean, that'll offset things. Can I put... Wait, can I put the inverted one on the bottom? Does that work? Is that what you're telling me? No. Yes. Ish. Now... Okay, it's only attached to one of these engines. And it's going to need a decoupler there. This don't feel right. Would this work with struts? I mean, I suppose I can go out to the launch pad and give it a test, right? Okay, first of all, I can't strut from this, which is kind of annoying. Nor can I strut through there. I don't think this is going to work. Use 3D couplers? But it doesn't... I mean, it'll cover this, which will look great. But this is only binding to one. Or is it now binding to all of them? Maybe it's all... Maybe now it's smart enough to do the right thing. I don't know. I'm going to give this a quick test. So let me go and just grab some sort of booster to get started. Just the thumper like this. That's not enough thrust to weight. Let's just do this. And this is going to be overkill, but there's no such thing as too much overkill, right? What am I looking for? Skipper engine. There we go. Okay. Test launch. Only binding to one. For the love of God, disable the shrouds in the engine. Why disable the shrouds, though? They look cool. It isn't smart enough to do the right thing, sadly. Just strut it or side mount it. So I'm just trying to get a little bit of something. Oh yeah, I've got to kill the other engine first. Still. That's actually fine. I mean, fine for different uses of the word fine. But I actually think that is working okay. I'm almost certainly going to add a crap ton of struts because that's just the way it goes, right? Just strut all the things. It wants to fall. It's clear that it doesn't have a very strong connection here, and I'm sure it's only connected to one thing is what's happening. But if we do that, kill the engine this time, then go. Then light the engines. Okay. Then we'll crash because we don't have enough, you know, anything. But I think that's okay. Right. If we had a fairing, you could use auto struts. That's an interesting point. So, when we probably want a fairing on all that, is it still under aerodynamics? Go. Oops. So if we have that, truss structure, I think, is the internal stuff, right? So, and if we do this, will that secure everything a little bit better inside? I'm going to do this and just throw on some of this here for the launch. Yeah, I know that the rocket is asymmetrical, which is definitely going to suck. It isn't stupid if it works. If it works, it isn't stupid. It's the way it goes. It looks glorious. Just trying to steer it. I guess I'll turn that off and just put on regular SAS. God, the reaction wheels on this are sick good. Sick good. Oh, and then yeah, then I went too far off of whatever's, but that's okay. Kill it. Okay. Everything's working exactly as intended. Actually, it is. The Kerbals may not think so. But everything is working exactly the way it was supposed to. Okay, so this stage, we're basically... I'm going to try not to burn anything on the stage until we're closing in on the final asteroid itself. So what we're going to build now is basically the stage that is going to mostly put us into a relatively similar orbit to the asteroid, or the interception. So it's going to be responsible for leaving Kerbin's sphere of influence almost certainly, and then plotting some sort of intercept course. I suspect we'll need a fair amount of fuel for this. I think I'm going to go with like an orange tank and a poodle. How much delta V is that going to give us on that stage? 2,000 delta V. Is that sufficient? I'm actually not certain that it is. It's also going to be a very slow burn, which will be a little awkward to plan things, but it's going to be efficient, so I think that'll have to do for that. And then we are going to put in... It would be... Oh, this is going to be so tall, because I don't have all of the dividers. It is going to be insanely tall. Which does make it very difficult to launch. Very difficult to launch. But I think it'll be okay. So, yeah, this is not actually enough thrust. There we go. That's going to be fine there. And then, obviously, we're going to need quite a bit of assistive boosters here in an asparagus type of structure. Is that the one I want, or this one? What's has the biggest force? Oh, they're the same. This has got a little bit more space. So I want this. I want this to be quite high up in a paired symmetry with a regular Rockomax and then another orange tank down there. It's going to be a ridiculous amount of lift. And all the engines go at once. So 1.35 thrust to weight is good. And then it does that and it goes there. Now, do I have to do anything funky for the fuel flows anymore? There's like something changed with the fuel flow and I actually don't know how it works. And I've run into some issues with this before. So there's no config menu for this. There is for that. Like, I've sort of lost the stage here. Like, it should be giving me... Stage 4 should have delta V, shouldn't it? Or this stage here should have delta V. And it's making me think that there's something related to fuel flow that's no good. And that's new. As of, what, 1.2 or whatever? Asparagus staging was nerfed hard by the arrow changes. No, no, you still need that. That's not it at all. Fuel flow priority, but yeah, that's I ran into this before and I don't know where it is. And it could be that MechJeb's not calculating delta V correctly. The idea being, coupler's in the wrong stage. Oh! Yes, that is the problem. Thank you. Because it's going to instantly drop the side stages. That's the problem. It's not the fuel flow. It's this. Coupler's got to be moved to a separate stage and then moved above. There we go. Now we're getting some numbers.